I'm sorry, Andrew Weissman, but if I recall correctly, in 2018, you were one of the people who helped write the Mueller report, and you all botched the hell out of that.
And never in my wildest dreams would I have thought we would be here. I thought we were better as a country.
Oh, yeah.
Like all these sites that have been around for creating videos and all that, like text stock videos, they're done.
But that's why Canva was one of the first to get into doing AI.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And since 2020, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And you know what? It's Saturday, January 18th already. But I was speaking to a comrade earlier on this week. I said, is this year going as fast as last year? People said, like, last year just went by crazy fast. And he said, well, you know what? It seems that people are still getting into the new year, so it's not as fast yet. And I say yet as what's been going on last year. But you know what? It is Saturday afternoon Eastern time. You know what time it is? It's Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. And Aisha's with us. LaLa will be joining us momentarily. Aisha, how are you? You got to take yourself off mute.
I do that all the time.
You're going to get this right once in 2025, right?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm getting over a cold. Okay. But other than that, it's good. It's cold here.
Yes.
But other than that, I'm just kind of, finding joy wherever I can.
That's interesting. Is it easy to find that at the present time?
Yeah, because I limit what media I take in. I limit the amount of time I'm on social media. The only social media I'm really doing is Blue Sky. I kind of limit, what news, like I said, what news I'm looking at. So I don't spend all day just doom scrolling YouTube news clips and watching MSNBC, CNN, and no, I pick a show. I listen to a lot of Black Talk Radio.
And, what outlets do you listen to? Because I like to plug into some. The only one when I do get a chance to listen, is KBLA, which is Tavis Smiley's station of LA. But what ones do you listen to? I may have to plug in.
Sirius XM 126 Urban View.
Okay.
So I like the shows there. Reverend Al has a show there. Clay Kane's show I like. Karen Hunter and Larry Daniel Favors. They have great shows throughout the week. Okay. And their commitment to covering this next 4 years is to not run and break every little hiccup that he makes. It's really to take the news, analyze it, and look in terms of what we can do in our community to mitigate the damages. And that's pretty much the stance that I'm taking, which is why, we've agreed on this show to not focus on every little breaking thing that he does.
Okay. It's interesting you say about watching the news. Like, for the first time in a long while, I watched 11 o'clock Toronto news last night. I'm based in Toronto, by the way, and Aisha's in Connecticut. And I had to turn it off after 5 minutes. The stuff I saw going on was just crazy. Like, I said, you know what? I'm done. 5 minutes. That's just 5 minutes of local television.
And you guys, your stuff is getting crazy with with Justin Trudeau resigning.
That's a whole other take too. But just the local stuff, like one of the things we have a lot going on in here, they're calling it smash and grab. And what's happening is, unfortunately, it looks like, well, we don't know. Well, I won't say. What is happening is young people preferably are smashing jewelry store windows.
Yeah, that's been a problem here for a couple of years now in the United States. We've been having in this area street takeovers, which have been an issue where you get young kids coming with their cars, literally taking over a street.
What?
And partying and, racing their cars and stuff.
Wow. No, but like one of the things that was on the news last night, and that's why I turned off, a gentleman earlier on this week, well, what he was committing some sort of not good act downtown Toronto, had a Hummer, and police got called. Police surround him. He's banging all the police cars, bang, bang, like bumper cars. And the thing,
what was he expecting? It's a Hummer.
Yeah, well, and the funny thing is, he stole that Hummer a few days ago.
Oh wow!
It was stolen. It wasn't even his. So, I'm getting to the point. The more I know, the less I understand.
Well, here's the thing: is that there isn't a lot of the crime rates in the country have substantially gone down. So I'm not worried about those. But here's the thing that I am worried about is how local governments are going to respond to him, because our governor, Democratic governor, appointed a Republican judge. I ain't vote for that.
Wow.
Well, we for those who heard the beautiful, lovely tone called LaLa is here with us, looking wonderful in her hoops.
Thank you. Thank you. I heard you talking about street takeovers, and that is huge in LA.
What?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, they're doing it.
They're very, very dangerous. All that if someone loses control of that car, and people have been hurt doing the donuts in the middle of the car, and you just never know. They just decide they random pick where they're going to do it. It doesn't matter if it's in Beverly Hills. It doesn't matter if it's in Compton. It doesn't matter. They just do it, and it's very dangerous.
Well, these kids here took over a street like right in front of a shopping plaza. Like, come on now, right? Like,
yeah.
And I guess they figured because it was so late at night, they could get away with it. They did this over the holidays, and it's kind of like, you realize everything closes late on the holidays, right?
Yes.
Right. Wow.
But yeah, that's gotten to be really bad. I mean, taking over streets and not letting people pass, and, it's bad.
What is going on?
Because
we're living in anarchy.
Well, we're living in that, but people are also doing these things to show off online, to one up the next person, to get a viral moment on top of all of that. So it's bad behavior caught on camera, shared with the world.
Jeez. All right, just some of the family is here. Jen Meyer says, hello, everyone. Good to have you, Jen. And she also says, I asked her how she was doing. She goes, doing well. Hope you're well also. JJ Mars from Colorado. How cold is it in Colorado, JJ Mars? Because we're getting the Arctic, the Arctic vortex, or I don't know if it's the Arctic or the polar one. I don't know if it's the polar, or I think it's called the Arctic, because the Arctic's crazy. We're supposed to have really cold weather from today or tonight, January 18th, till the end of January. Jen Meyer says talking about the street takeover. Jen says we've had a lot of that in Cleveland. Street takeovers. What? I didn't know about this. This is like.
Well, look, guess you should know, because Canada might become part of the U.S. through street.
Oh, jeez, here we go again. JJ Mars says smash and grab in shopping malls using motorbikes to race in and out. I'm going to top that, JJ Mars. Earlier on, last year in Toronto, Greater Toronto, a group of gentlemen drove into a mall with their car. Their car.
I remember that.
That's
I
a
remember
video.
reading that.
They drove into, they smashed through the front doors with a car, I have to say it, and did that. Smash and grab. I just went, oh my, like it's really, the more I know, the less I understand. JG Mar says, cold day here, 12 degrees outside. Yeah, that's what we're going to be getting here. 12 degrees outside for the next.
It's been cold here at the 28th. I thought that was bad.
Well, this morning it was pouring rain.
It's raining here now.
Well, you're gonna get the drop because the winds. It's about an hour and a half ago. I was driving. It was raining, and while I was driving, the rain changed to snow, like right in front of my eyes while I was driving.
Yeah, I mean, they said that this is there's a huge wave coming through that is going to be the coldest snap in over 300 years.
What?
Yes, this cold snap that is
300 years.
Yes,
we don't need that for sure.
Wow.
It's already too cold outside. Look, I got a book I know that was delivered sitting in the mailbox. I don't feel like going.
Sitting there.
It's a Black History Month read, right? That's when you're going to pick it up during Black History Month.
Well, you know what's so funny is that if it's my book, look, it's going to have to sit there till Monday.
And Aisha, talk about, before we go to break, your book. Thank you for sharing some of it in the Discord group.
Yes, The Infallible Family Freeman. It's a children's book. It's coming out February 4th, hopefully. I'm waiting for the proofing copy to give it a final. Okay, but yeah, I looked at did the layout and everything. It's going to be on bn.com, Barnes Noble. So
nice. Well, family, one of the things I suggested to Aisha and LaLa at the end of last year, and they're gonna start doing segments to talk about things that they're doing. So they'll be the only person on screen to talk about what they're doing. So I know it's gonna be Aisha's book. I don't know what LaLa's always got things going on all around the world, but we are patiently waiting for one of you to do a segment. So I'll just say TikTok, and that's going to come up a little bit later on. Just leave it at that.
Well, I can do on the last Saturday of this month, right before the book goes on sale.
Okay. So then I'm going to challenge LaLa. Maybe she can do one next week. There we go. So Jen Meyer says we're going to have single digits and negatives. Yep, that's what we're looking for the rest.
That's what they say for here too. I'm just like over it before it even started.
Oh boy. JJ Mar says people need to check their car battery cables and connectors during the cold weather. Absolutely. Actually, earlier
pull up your windshield wipers. Make sure your windshield wipers are not on your window. Pull them up.
Yep. It happened earlier on this year. One of the cars is an older car. Hadn't started for a while. Went out there. It was so bad the ignition key wouldn't turn in the ignition slot because the battery was totally dead.
What kind of car you got that still has an ignition that you turn?
It's an old car. It's one of the cars. It's an old car. We'll talk about that offline, which is a good segue to break time. All right. So we're going to come right back after the break, and we got lots of things going to chat about. Also, remember, wherever you are, especially live, chime in with your comments. We'd love to hear them as always. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. Good morning. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show.
My name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. So he couldn't call an election now because that would be the most disastrous thing for the Liberal Party. I am predicting it's going to be this year where AI just starts to branch out on its own.
They did that on purpose.
You think so? Oh,
of course they did. Of course they did. All right. You can catch myself and Ryan Knight Monday and Friday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern time on the Morning Vibes. So before we get everything started, here's some important things. Girlfriends Chat with Aisha, LaLa, and Jill Jones at Patreon. There's the link. Primetime Saturday Show Store. There's the link. Join Aisha, LaLa, their Primetime group. And we're beginning to put more stuff in there. Email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show if you're up to it on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also subscribe and hit the notification button so we try to make sense of the oligarchs' algorithms. And then follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And also, if you want to advertise your business product or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of, email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. We're done. All right. First conversation piece. It's coming up 2 days' time. Monday, January 20th, 2025. Project 2025 begins. What do Americans need to do and focus on? Ladies, take it away.
Well, if you haven't gotten your passport, that's something that you need to work on. I'm working on that. If you, like I said, if you're really, really active on anything like Facebook, X, TikTok, you have to find other social mediums, because the whole thing is that everything, that all the news information that you think you're going to get through Meta, X, you're not going to. Remember, these are controlled by people who have not only capitulated to Donald Trump, one works for him, and they both have money invested in this inauguration. So I wouldn't trust any of my important stuff at them. As we know, TikTok is banned starting tomorrow.
We'll see.
So,
we'll see.
Well, no, I mean, honestly,
we'll see. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about it later.
I doubt it's going to come back.
Biden left it in the hands of the orange one.
Yeah.
We'll get to that story. I think that was a nice move by Mr. Biden. He's just going to leave it in his lap.
Yeah, and then I think the other thing that you need to do is make sure that you are managing your time and energy. You're not putting so much energy into his craziness, because it will be crazy for the next 4 years. Figure out what you can do in your backyard to make sure that your state government is running the way that you want it to, because you have more control over that piece.
Okay. I just wanted to, Aisha, I'm hearing some sort of like a wind noise from your microphone. Okay.
No, that was my fan.
Okay, yeah. That's okay. All right, got it.
You might have to hear it because hot flash season. So
there we go. LaLa, what do Americans need to do and focus on?
We see so many now bowing down to the Orange Muppet. Zuck has decided that he is now bold enough to step out and say anything that he wants to say. So I urge you, for those who can't get off of Meta, to really make sure that you go in and change your settings. You're more than welcome to go to my webpage, my Facebook page. There are instructions there on how to do that so that your information will not be used. The same reason they're trying to shun TikTok is the same thing that Meta is doing, as well as Twitter. X. I personally am going to start out this week. I've already done my setting changes. I will be off of social media completely this week. I will not be checking into the news. I will not be checking into any of my platforms. I am going to take a fast. And if anybody knows me, they know that is very hard for me to do because I have business, but I have put posts on all of and if people need me, they know how to reach me. But I urge you to now pull back from these platforms and start to explore other platforms. Blue Sky is really working on getting a Instagram comparable type of site. So they are working on that now. I forgot what they said their name was going to be, but they're very serious about giving people who don't want to be a part of these agendas a safe place to be and to come together. Also, I urge you to look into other platforms. If you have podcasts and things of that nature, you need to start looking at moving over to YouTube. But for your businesses, the main thing I need you to do is to make sure that you start building your email lists so that no matter what platforms are going away or not, you have a direct connection to your clients. And that is what I am doing. But for me, I've had enough. And I don't want to patronize places that don't give a shit about me or my community or our country. And that includes the people who are performing at this sham of an inauguration. And that includes Snoop Dogg, and that includes Nelly. That includes everybody that is doing that. I love you, Snoop, but guess what? Gotta let you go, because you are working against us when you partner with them. And so we have to draw this is my advice. You have to draw your line in the sand. Right. Whatever you are comfortable with, you need to draw that line. My line is drawn. I most likely will not be doing a whole lot on Facebook anymore as I shift things over to YouTube, and also my buy me a coffee page. Which is blog-like. I also want to tell you about 2 new live streaming platforms that I am researching right now, because I love live streaming. Most people know here I started on Periscope. That's how I find Dr. Vibe. So I miss it. And since Periscope left, there have been 2 that have popped up since TikTok, although one of them has been in beta for a year. It's called Favorited. And I'm under Living the LaLa there, Living the LaLa Life. And there's also another one that is Isaac Hayes's
fan base
that I am testing there too. He has all 3. He has the live streaming, he has the posts, and so we will see how well that does. Don't get discouraged. Things change, life moves on, but now is the time. You need to stand your ground.
For both of you, what are some of the biggest concerns you have in regards to the next 4 years / Project 2025?
Every last one of our rights will be stripped.
Yeah, I mean, they've already said that they come in day 1. He's going to do like 100 executive orders. They've got them already written and ready to go. So that is scary. I mean, you're going to have to give up a lot of things that you've gotten used to, things that give you comfort. Like for me, I love Diet Coke. But Diet Coke decided that they're going to create the first of its kind ever commemorative can and bottle for the inauguration. And I'm done.
I didn't hear that one, so thank you, Aisha. I mean, I don't drink soda anymore, but I will definitely keep that in mind.
But Diet Coke makes so many products. Like they make Dasani water. They make, they make a lot of.
But Dasani's full of chemicals.
Yeah. But they also too are a big employer in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're talking about the part of Atlanta where there are a lot of Black people. A lot of their employees are Black. So here they are. I'm like, And that site that you gave us has been very helpful in terms of looking at where I'm spending my money. I'm much more careful. We have to be more thoughtful about where we put our dollars over the next 4 years, because I refuse to help fund a movement that is designed to erase me. I refuse to do it.
Regina Frizz is here, says good evening all. Good evening to you, Regina. Also, let me ask you, do you feel many Americans who don't approve of what's going on, could be going on over the next 4 years, will go to that extent?
Black people will. The 92%, let me be very clear. 92% who are very dedicated, who've always been grounded in their activism, will do that. There are people who clearly won't, because we see people like Snoop and Nelly, who criticized Trump all that time and now are going to perform at his inauguration. We see, all these women who were like, Kamala had their little women's march today, but we're mad that Black women said, yeah, we're not doing it. We told you back in November we weren't doing it, and you really thought that we weren't serious? And so, so I think that you're going to see a lot more of the turning inward in our community, because we have work that we need to do. If it's very clear that there's not anything that the government is going to do for our communities in the 4 years, even if we have to force them to, it's like everything that way is going to be on hold, and we need to focus on what we can do and change.
And I want to make it clear, there are many grocery stores out there, Aldi's, Lidl, Costco is not playing around. They are still very serious about keeping DEI and working with our community. I urge you to check the ones that are safe to shop at. Listen, we know that there's a ton against us. There is a lot of corporations who own other things, and sometimes you may not know that, but you have to do what you can do. Even if it's just 3 or 4 steps that you're doing, it's better than nothing.
Yeah. And here's the thing. A lot of these people, you want to talk about where the price gouging is going to be able to be controlled? It's going to be in their pockets. So if you tell them, hey, we don't like you being a part of this man and his nonsense, we'll take our business elsewhere, they're going to get they'll get the message.
I want to see where that leads to if it happens. Regina says, I just joined Costco because of their positive business model. My community is preparing for the midterms, 33 senators, seats up for grabs, and the House. I agree. Grassroots is the way to go.
And here's how effective it is. And I think many people forgot about this, but the NAACP and a lot of Black organizations were boycotting South Carolina for a long time. Even back when I was the coordinator for African American affairs for the state, the boycott, you knew who not to ask. You knew not to ask because people were boycotting. And that tremendously hurt South Carolina because they have a big tourism thing. Now imagine what happens if people boycott them now. The NCAA boycotted South Carolina. When the boycott was lifted, what happened? University of South Carolina women basketball started getting better.
Hey, and big shout out to Dawn Steele. I think she just signed the biggest, highest. She's the highest paid
ever
women's basketball coach in America
for now.
Yes, for now.
Because Kim, whatever her name is, the one who was
Mulkey or Mulby or Mulkey.
Yeah, the one who
and also Gino from York.
He has the contract that's supposed to be the highest paid.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what happens with Costco, how much brunt they're going to be able to take from that the right.
Though Costco's not as popular in those southern red states as Sam's Club.
Right.
Because Sam's Club is attached to Walmart. And you have towns, these rural towns, they might not have anything else, but they have a Walmart.
Okay. As I said, it's going to be very interesting.
But other than that, what is everybody doing on Martin Luther King Day? Because that's what Monday is to me.
Well, we're going to get to that at the end. Behave yourself. We're going to get to that. No worries about that.
Because that's what I'm doing on Monday.
Now, Project 2025, I think, is going to be, something's up because you're not hearing anything. Regina says,
no, you have actually.
I haven't heard a lot.
No, if you watched all week, the hearings.
Oh, yes.
The confirmation hearings. Everything that they're going to put into place, you hear coming out of how these people answer the questions.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Regina says, I remember dealing with Reagan, the ultimate racist, and Ding Dong Bush dragging us into wars. We have been here. We will claw our way back, and Black women should sit this one out.
Baby, I'm sitting. I'm sitting. Not only am I sitting, I'm working on myself and what I can do for my community.
Yep.
So you can have it. Get somebody else to do it.
Mhm.
Would it be right to say that this is the next few years is a defining period in Black American history?
I
think
believe so, because we cannot say that. Listen, if you're really serious about our community, you're going to get up off your ass and you're going to do what needs to be done. If you don't care and you want to sit home and twiddle your thumbs, you can keep it over there on the left. But if you're not going to help us, then surely the hell don't hurt us.
Yeah. I mean, I think it will be defining in terms of, you're going to see Black women, especially, but Black people, do a bit more gatekeeping of our culture. You're going to see us find things that bring us joy. And people, and if we say this brings us joy, people are going to probably be like, oh, well, why are we excluded again? Because you hurt us. You everywhere we turn, there's hurt where you are. If I think for how we educate our kids, we're going to see a lot more of us taking up the mantle there. Because in the past, you're fine to let education systems handle these kinds of things on a large scale, but we can't trust that anymore. He wants to close the Department of Education.
I think we've communicated in our Discord group. People are beginning to wake up saying, "Oh, we didn't vote for that."
Yes, you did. Don't come at me with that lie. Don't come at me with that lie, because yes, you did. Yes, you did. You knew that. You just didn't think the fuck around and find out was going to come to you, and it is coming to you. And more you are finally like, oh no, that includes me. Yes, that includes you. You are not of them. You're in us.
And I mean, the other part of it too is that the cruelty and the pain, inflicting cruelty and pain on people that did not vote for him, did not support him, is the point. He dodged prison. Put it this way, if you take the worst criminal who's been convicted in government and you tell them that they have absolute immunity while they're on the job to do whatever it is that they want, and they know that the people that work with them over the party that they control, if he wants to say, I want to be a leader till I die, we'll make it happen. This is where we are.
But this man has. Every time somebody says 4 years, I just laugh, because I'm sorry, I don't believe it's just going to be 4 years.
And you know how we know? But you know how we know? Because when he got sentenced, he sent out a campaign funding memo.
Sure did.
Email. Campaign funding email. For what campaign? That man doesn't plan on leaving.
He's not going to. He didn't want to last time. That was a test subject going on right there. That was a test. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3 test. And now, because he failed that time, he knows what to do now. And he's been lining up everything from day one. Day one.
And here's the other part of it too, right? The more outlandish he sounds, notice that J.D. Vance has been going and saying something totally different.
Yeah.
To sound sane. So, for example, after the immigration thing with Musk and Vivek and all that, J.D. Vance said that, I don't agree with President Trump on the H-1B visas. You know why? Because he realizes that he wants to run for president in 2028.
That's right.
He wants to either kick this man out or take over. And that's the thing that should scare everyone, because a J.D. Vance, Donald Trump as president is bad, but setting up for a J.D. Vance takeover is going to be a lot easier for these people that created Project 2025 than we think. And also, let's not forget, Trump hired people directly from that book, whose words are in that book, in his administration.
Yes.
And so and he feels like, and they feel like they have a mandate. They feel like they have a mandate now to do everything that their hearts desire.
I also want to say a special shout out to Nicole Grant watching on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel, saying good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get off this topic, what is your suggestions for Black women over the next 4 years?
Find joy. I'm serious. Find joy in your life, in your community, in your spirit. Because the thing is that life is about, our lives are about a different series of memories, right? What memories you want to have over the next 4 years that you spent your time wringing your hands, complaining about how awful this man is, or that you found things to improve yourself. You've given yourself grace. You've done things that will improve your life while he's busy trying to ruin the country.
You're going to have to protect your peace. This is your time. You know how they say, go away. There's a story. Let me tell you about the story. There's a story about Robert Johnson. For those of you who don't know who Robert Johnson is, he's one of the best and one of the pioneers of blues. Robert Johnson sucked so bad that people would kick him off the stage and said, don't even think about coming on stage. Robert Johnson went away and disappeared for 6 months. 6 months. Nobody knew where he was. When he came back, he blew everyone off the stage. They could not believe it was the same man with this guitar. They laughed at him when he first came back in. But you know what that man did? That man went and worked on himself in quietness and peace, and he became an expert at what he does. This is your time to grow. Plant yourself. Be a creative seed. Put your direction in the right place and protect your peace. Get off of social media. It's sucking up too much of our time. I came to that really hard conclusion the other day when I looked at how much time I was spending on my screen. That's not good, LaLa, and that's not good for either of anybody out there. This is what it's designed for, to make your mind mush. So instead of worrying about how many numbers you have on all different platforms or what you're going to do and what TikTok platform you're going to do and going down that rabbit hole, why don't you go down the rabbit hole with yourself? There is something in your life that you want to do and you keep saying, I wanna, but you're not. Now is the time to focus on that. And that's my message.
Yeah. And what Lala's saying too about focusing on yourself in the Robert Johnson analogy was great. Be so good at what you do with focusing on yourself that people have to make up the myth that, you made a deal with the devil.
Right.
Right? Because that's the ultimate thing with Robert Johnson, is that he was so good that people had to believe this myth that he made a deal with the devil in order to play guitar like that. Be so good at you that people are like, wow, what did he or she do to, where did this change come from?
All right. So Regina says, sorry, woke does not apply to folks with white privilege. JD Vance has zero charisma, Aisha. Their mandate will be when the voters see their words do not reflect their actions. Regina also says, great analogy, Robert Johnson, LaLa. Agree about social media And Nicole says, wonderful Nicole Grant says, so y'all moving to Canada or what? We'll welcome you with open arms.
Y'all got your own issues. Now, y'all got your own issues with your government, but also too, this knucklehead thinking that he's going to take over. What will be the point, right? But you know what though, Regina, the voters, it's funny, like you would think that the voters would see that their words don't reflect their actions, but they voted for him again. He made a lot of promises the first time and kept none, but had the nerve to make his campaign slogan again: promises made, promises kept. He didn't build a wall, but like, for example, this ceasefire that's going on with Israel and the hostages coming back. Well, you know he's going to take credit for that on Tuesday, right?
Matter of fact, they had nerve enough. A reporter had the audacity to ask our president how much Trump put into that deal. And he literally turned around and looked at me and said, you're joking, right? Like, this is the times that we live in now, y'all. You can either be mad about it and make yourself sick, or you can decide what you're going to do with your life and make it positive.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Regina says
Aisha, Jamie Starr is, I guess, she's saying maggot, by the way. Some of our purple family have been radicalized.
Okay, so I did this whole article for I Care If You Listen a couple of years ago that basically said that there is a racist element in the Prince fandom. There is. I have never met so many racist fans of a black male artist in my life. Yeah. I've come across quite a few. To the point that there's one that just basically told me Prince just wasn't black at all.
All right, you know what? Let's move on, because this is going down a real.
And I say that as I wear a Prince shirt. So yeah,
100%.
But here's the thing, right? About what she was saying though about their mandate, but it's like the mandate. They don't care if he. It's to me, they don't even care if he does anything. Just the fact that he says it out loud. About the hate, it for some reason it gives them this false sense of freedom, because there have been many fuck around and find out moments since 2015 of arrogant white men who think that they're just like him and can go up to black people and say whatever and not come away unharmed.
I just had to go and look at something. I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to report on this. Like, there is a huge backlash happening with Snoop and Nelly and all these artists that's performing. And someone went back into his history. There is a wonderful account that I follow called A Girl Has No President. And she's excellent. And she said,
I do.
Yeah. She says, for those who keep asking, Snoop performed last night, so he's not going to pull a stunt on stage and say something bad about Trump. This is done. I'm sure he's been paid. He's got his money and he's walked away. And if you don't believe this is true, just Google Snoop Dogg performing for Trump. It's literally that easy. There are 2 images in her story that shows him performing. However, what she did is she went back to his posts in 2017 and found the video of him that said, who's going to be the first coon to perform for Trump? Because I'm going to roast you. I'm going to roast you when you do.
And he was the first one.
There you go.
You would think that he would have learned from the backlash from Mississippi State Valley University, right?
Yeah.
MSVU, right? That they're getting. And they're getting that largely because their band director, he's tried this with other universities that he worked at to get them to perform for Trump. So what I don't understand is, like, didn't he learn from Chrisette Michele?
Right.
Remember, Jennifer Holliday pulled out the last time because
Yes.
of the backlash that she got.
Yeah, and who's heard anything that she's done now, Chrisette?
Chrisette Michele had to give up music completely.
Yes.
She was doing good at the time.
Yes.
So
And Nelly and Shante got this new baby coming too. Come on, y'all.
Baby number 2.
Baby 2. That's what I'm saying. New baby coming.
She just had the other one.
She sure did. She didn't even stay non-pregnant long as she
You have 2 babies in diapers, Nelly.
so Regina says, but if their health care and Social Security are taken away, who will they blame? And
they're gonna blame the Democrats. They're gonna blame the Mexicans.
Don't get it twisted.
They're gonna say, I can't get health care, but the Mexicans can get free health care. That's what they're gonna do. It is the same. It's the same bull. That's why the Southern strategy works so well.
Well, okay. JJ Mars says, oh no, Regina says, or the Kanye backlash. And JJ Mars says, Snoop just want to get paid like most black entertainers. Not saying
I agree. No, I would agree in saying that if it was Nelly. But Snoop, however, has built up a brand that goes beyond what he was doing. He had this lifestyle brand with Martha Stewart. Okay.
Yes.
Remember, they had the show, and so they had this brand, and so he really is putting that stuff on the line. Because best believe, I don't care what he's thinking or what he's not thinking, and maybe he should go back to smoking weed again. Because
has he ever stopped?
No, he has. That's why I'm like, maybe he needs to go back, because clearly this is the sober mind of Snoop doing this. And the truth is that, I mean, does he really think any of those people that support Trump are going to support anything that he does? They haven't been the last 30 years. That's been us. 1, 2, beyond that, there's nothing that their money is not coming to him. I don't know what he thinks. What, they're not going to buy your lifestyle brand when they can buy Mainstay's brand at Walmart. These are Walmart people.
Yeah.
Clarence Thomas already told us that. These are Walmart people. These aren't people that will buy the Snoop Dogg collection at Macy's. Right. These people can't get to a Macy's.
Right.
All I know is I'm serious about what I say. When I say that I am done with you, I am done with you. There is no going back. You've proven yourself over and over. A long time ago, everybody kept saying, oh, Starbucks they help us and they do this. No, they've proven who they are. They've proven who they are from very, very beginning. I've not set foot back into a Starbucks since the beginning of them stepping out and claiming you couldn't wear the Black Lives Matter shirts, but you could wear the Pride shirts, but you couldn't wear the Black Lives Matter shirts. You either all on board or you're not. So, I take it very seriously. And that means musical artists as well. I don't listen to R. Kelly. Why don't I listen to R. Kelly? Because he's a predator. That's why. Yeah. I don't care if he wrote I Believe I Can Fly. I don't care if he's a good songwriter. I don't stand for where he stands for. So therefore, I need to stand on my foundation.
Yep. I mean, honestly, I haven't listened to Ice Cube in God knows how long. It's like my hip hop list is getting smaller and smaller. And smaller. Y'all gotta chill.
They get a little bit of money and they think that us is a them.
Right. But here's the part that kills me. The same y'all are performing for the same people that tried to get your music shut down in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
The same people who were running over your CDs with steamrollers. Because I remember that.
Yep. Yep.
The same people who tried to censor you. Even Al Gore divorced the woman who started the parental advisory sticker.
Wow.
Okay.
Nicole says, I didn't even know about Snoop's plan, but he's definitely a sellout. No amount of money is worth selling out your morals or values for.
Nope.
And the two ladies who are above me right now on the screen, I consider them musicologists. Like big time, they know their music front row. Aisha's a Prince expert authority. LaLa has been singing professionally for years. So the LaLa is not cute. It's real. Okay. It's LaLa for a reason, not to be cute. So we got, man, more stuff is coming. Man, I don't know if we're going to get past any of this because the comments are flying in here. So Regina says she divorced Al, though. Remember the massage story?
He gave her a reason. But look. If darling Nikki was too much for her, you can imagine what other things were too much for her.
And JJ Mars says to Nicole Grant, who's in our chat, Snoop has no plan. We just killed many of his brain cells. It's all a vague purple haze to him. Well, it's interesting because he's on commercials now for T-Mobile. Yeah,
exactly.
He's on T-Mobile and all this stuff. So, wow.
I like that T-Mobile commercial too. Sorry, Snoop. Look, and not only that, but you start getting dropped when you start hurting the business of these companies that you have endorsements with. Don't forget that. It's not just about you getting money. Because remember, how much could he possibly have been paid? Because, I mean, Trump don't got no money. What, he got paid from the inauguration thing or whatever? Sure. Yeah, but guess what? Carrie Underwood got paid more than him, I'm sure. And he's been an artist much longer than she has, but of course, she's a white woman who sings country. She's in the find out
was about cheating.
Yeah. Yep. She's in the find out era too, because people are like, why are you doing it? And then people had to bring up her MAGA history.
Well, I find it, we're still going on with this, but I find it interesting. I saw a report. Amazon is doing $40 million for a biography on 47's wife.
Disgusting. Okay, but that means that they now need to pull up all of her naked pictures that she calls artistic.
Here's the part. You're gonna do a biopic on someone who's a total bore. Remember, it's supposed to be entertaining. It's called entertainment for a reason. If I want boring, I'll go sit and, I mean, I don't know, read a book on a 400-page book on chess.
Watch the wind blow before I sit down and watch her.
Well, the funny, and I know both you respect this lady a lot, whose 61st birthday was this past Friday.
The woman who's not going to the inauguration.
And 47's wife is not happy about that.
Don't give a shit.
Wait. How is she not happy about it? But she didn't show up to the last one either.
Thank you. You know, I'm sick of this double standard crap. I'm sick of it. They didn't have to be as nice to them when they ushered them in as they did.
And not only that, but you're mad at her for not showing up after all the shit that your husband and his supporters said about her. Are you kidding me? If anything, you should understand. But also, you're mad at her for not showing up after you stole her speech.
Dirt.
She's not showing up because she don't want you to plagiarize her appearance.
Wait a minute, hold up. She would be let's be truthful, okay? She would be mad if she did show up and if she didn't show up, because everybody knows that Michelle Obama is nothing but classy. And why class wants to stand by trash? No, not only that, but here's the other part of it too. This woman is still mourning her mother. Y'all don't know what that's like, because nobody loved Trump enough. And Trump loves nobody enough to miss them that way.
And the only reason that my mommy is really mad is because she can't miss it. She had to tell her lover, we got to cool it for the next 4
I
years.
gotta go.
We got to we got to cool it for the next 4 years. Because I got to go live in
She
DC
even
again.
got to go to the White House? Because I thought the stipulation was she didn't want to be there.
Nope. She probably won't.
No, well, I heard she's ready to be settled in now.
Yeah.
Okay. So Regina says Snoop is worth 160 million. He does not need to do this.
But he did it.
Yeah,
He's already performed. He's
Look,
already
he
performed.
better not smoke that.
Don't forget, it's not just the one day, y'all. You have to understand that it's not just the one day that's going. The parties have started. They started last night. Snoop has already performed.
It's done.
All right. So Regina's on fire the last few weeks. She goes, Melania looked miserable, in capital letters, miserable at the Carter funeral, but she wished she had been as smart as Michelle and skipped it. And
nobody talked to her.
Okay, and she also says, come on, Melania loves Obama and Michelle, guys. Both Melania and Michelle lost their mothers. Melania should go after Justin now that he is divorced. LOL. Well, that's Justin Trudeau, by the way, family.
Well, no, but she won't, because guess what? He doesn't have a high-profile job anymore.
On that note, I think we're gonna flip it over. We talked about it a lot last week. It almost seems that it's now a vanished story, the California fires.
Because here's what happens in our god-awful news. When it doesn't work for them, it's now yesterday's news. It is not yesterday's news. These fires are still raging. As of now, I think as of Monday, we had lost 24 people. The Eaton fire, which is the one I want to focus on today, was only 35% contained, and much of the larger Palisade, which is the rich folk area, was about 17%. But listen, and I say that lightly because I want you to understand, just like I told you last week, just because Palisades is considered a rich area does not mean that everybody there is rich. You have to understand that there are many generations that have purchased in these high-priced areas now that have been handed down, that are still living there, and they don't have the rich money, but they still have their land. So what about all the elderly who were living there? But this is what I want to focus on today. You need to understand that there is more than one fire. The Pacific Palisades is one, and the Eaton is another. The Pasadena is another. I want to focus on Altadena today because I need you to understand this historic aspect of what's happening and what has happened in Altadena. So you'll have to bear with me because I took all my notes and I have them here, so I'll kind of be looking back and forth. But you need to understand that Altadena is a historically Black area. It was a haven for Black ownership when the migration moved to the West. Altadena became a sanctuary for the Black families during the mid-20th century, particularly in the 60s and 70s, when most places were not accepting any Blacks, because at that time it was allowed to redline. Redlining means keeping certain people in certain areas. Now, most people don't know that Compton was an all-white area. And the minute that they were allowed to have Blacks move into the area at astronomical rates, like they had to pay like 4 times the rates that white people did, they shut shops, they left immediately. And that's how we got the Compton today. But Altadena actually was like an escape for the redlining because many people came there after being barred from the other areas of California. So here are some pretty famous people that that helped to really build that area up. Octavia Butler, Sidney Poitier, Eldridge Cleaver and Catherine Cleaver, Black Panther Party, and the Mountain View Mortuary. That is a huge place. That is a historical place for Black people and Black history. And home ownership in that area in the 60s and 70s skyrocketed 4% to 27%. You are talking about a culturally centered area that, yes, there has been some gentrification going on there, but there are many, many Black families who are still there, who have raised their family. Some are in their 90s, who have lost everything. Altadena has literally been wiped away.
Yeah.
So I'm tired of people just focusing on this Palisades fire. Yes, people are losing their homes there. Yes, my heart goes out, but please don't forget about the other areas that are also historical in the making of Los Angeles history.
Yeah. And the mortuary in Altadena, most of it got washed away. Wiped away with the fires. And then Octavia Butler's grave is safe, but the other side is way damaged.
Yeah.
I want to ask how can I put it? If there weren't celebrities impacted by this, would this get as much cover? Well, obviously you've seen the bias of new coverage, just what you shared with LaLa. But if there weren't entertainers involved, like losing their homes, would the news carry it as deeply as they have? Just out of curiosity.
No. Now, let me give you a very horrible thing that's going on right now. You're hearing all about the fires, right? But what you're not hearing is what's happening in North Carolina. See, the rich folk ain't there. There is massive, massive damage going on in North Carolina. You don't hear a peep about it. You don't even know that they're in such a deep freeze that they can't get out. You don't even know about what's going on there. Why? Because now that, it's old news and you ain't getting California unless you see some star's house burn now. You didn't hear one peep about North Carolina during all the coverage of the fires.
Nope, sure didn't.
So no, there's your answer. No.
So Nicole, Nicole says 47 wants to recolonize Canada because we offer no value to the U.S. Yet Canadian water bomber planes from Canada supporting the efforts to put out their fires. Yet 47 is silent about that. Also, I know that there's Mexican firefighters that are helping with this.
Yes, but I also want you guys.
I encourage both countries. I encourage both countries that if something like this should happen, and they need the help, that they both say, get somebody else to do it. Basically, you say you have a whole bunch of people, white people needing jobs. That hey, there's plenty of white jobs, Black jobs, Hispanic jobs, controlling the fires.
There you go. And putting their lives at risk. And I do mean at risk. These firefighters are exhausted, y'all. Can you imagine? Can you imagine working 24 hours a day to save other people's homes when a lot of them's homes are burning as well?
Yeah.
But I also want you to understand that Trump has already come out in a recording, because people now are just recording everything. Y'all, if y'all think y'all safe, please.
No,
He said he is going to bend this firefighting thing to his will until he gets what he wants. He doesn't care about the people. He doesn't care at all. What he cares about is punishing California for being under Newsom, period.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, his plan is to withhold aid.
Yes. And he's going
until he gets what he wants. And the funny thing is that he's not even clear about what he wants. What do you want? You want California? Well, that means that you're also going to punish people who actually did vote for you. They're not going to blame. And I guess he thinks they're going to blame Newsom. Not when Newsom says, I asked the federal government, and he said no. Oh, and by the way, here's the tape. Because guess what? Anybody that talks to Trump now, after the last administration, has learned the one thing that Brad Raffensperger did. When you have a conversation with that man, you got to record it, because you could end up in prison.
Nicole says, what about the inmates putting out the fires as well as getting paid pennies modern day slavery.
Yeah, of course it is. But
And
you don't think that's anything new, darling, do you?
And think about this. Remember,
Yeah.
because remember this, they're not using the nonviolent offenders. They're not taking out the worst criminals to have them fight the fires, okay? Because that would be a whole different problem. These are people who are pretty much on their way out, people who are nonviolent offenders that are being put into modern day slavery.
And Regina says California needs to withhold federal taxes.
They need to do something, but I'm gonna tell you one thing: Newsom don't take stuff laying down.
No, he doesn't.
Mm-mm.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't at all. Well, we'll continue to see the aftermath of this, and it's going to be,
especially not when that family has his sloppy seconds.
Lord of mercy, you didn't go there.
And I'm talking about Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Okay, I'm just gonna move on to the next conversation topic because we don't want to go. Well, I think this one will just. I think it's a good lead into this conversation topic. Nancy Mace is the new Karen. So before we get any further with this, we need to put up this little video snippet of what's going on in the American government right now with Jasmine Crockett and Nancy Mace. So if you don't know, you got to hear this interaction between these two ladies. So here we go. Oh, I got
really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or not
call me a child. I am no child.
I want to find out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
emails
actually have
ceilings.
Chairman,
Order,
I am
please.
reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that.
Order.
I am not a child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not
Okay.
in order.
Order.
Point of order. Point of order.
Okay. So as you can see,
I have never heard anyone beg to get their ass beat before.
Honey, she thought she was three toes on that moment.
Well, you know, so funny. The reason that the title is Nancy Mace is the new Karen of Congress, because before the break, before the end of the year, last year, I wrote a little article. One of my last articles for the year was called Nancy Mace is the new Karen of Congress. New Karen of Congress, Nancy Mace and weaponized whiteness. And this is basically, because I knew she was going to be a problem. I knew it. Lauren Boebert has been very quiet.
She said nothing.
Because she got her own issues. She got her own issues.
Said nothing.
And that's because she is in a district that is a new district, and she don't want to piss those people off because she wants to get elected again. Remember, this time she won by 200 votes. So she's minding her P's and Q's. But this woman here, this indignant SOB, for her to act like she doesn't know a Southern colloquialism. She didn't call you a child. She said child. And that's something that people in the South say all the time, no matter what their race is, okay? And I've heard it. But here's the thing. If I was Jasmine Crockett, I'd be up in her district the same way that she went to that trans ladies district in a whole different state. I'd be up in her district saying, she's not one of y'all. She ain't like y'all. She ain't like us Southerners. Because I said a Southern thing that I'm sure you all have heard before, and she acted like she never heard it. I would, because I can tell you one thing they don't like in South Carolina is an outsider. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. So that right there, that's one of the first things I would do. But then also somebody pointed out on the radio the other day, I think it was Clay Kane, pointed out that she called Keith Boykin and Michael Eric Dyson both boy.
Sure did. Sure
on
did.
CNN.
Yes, she did. Yes, she
But
did.
but here's the thing. It's not just that. Then she went to say, the part that you barely hear is her say, I've broken more glass ceilings than you. That for me was like, wait, what do you mean you've broken more glass ceilings than her? You broke one as a cadet. You broke one. Jasmine Crockett has had to break glass ceilings from the time she walked out the womb. What are you talking
Every day
about?
of her life.
What are you
But
talking
I
about?
also
Not only
want to
that,
point
you
out,
also prove that white women are the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action if you're going to talk about all the glass ceilings you broke.
oh, they're gonna find out because they think that they think they're safe now. But there was a beautiful I don't know where Jasmine Crockett was on this where she was talking, but she did address the fact to a crowd of people. She said, I needed to give you context of what this happened, because of course, all on social media, all you see is just the fire part. She said, but I was talking about how, the history of Martin Luther King and talking about how that is all tied in and everything. And this woman couldn't even stand it. And that, they can't stand talking about any kind of greatness at all. So the context was the fact that she was talking about the history and writing bills to continue with, affirmative action and civil rights and why she's there. And this woman just couldn't stand it. She couldn't stand it at all.
The thing is, they weren't even debating anything that had to do with trans rights.
No, not at all.
All right. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this story called Jasmine Crockett calls out, quote, Karen, unquote, Nancy Mace's dispute ramps up. Texas Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett and South Carolina Republican Congressman Nancy Mace, who sparred during a contentious House Oversight Committee meeting, which you saw a clip from, continued their spat on social media with one calling the other a, quote, Karen, unquote. Newsweek has contacted Crockett and Mace's offices for comment via email outside of regular working hours. The argument between the two representatives started as the House voted to ban transgender athletes from women's sports at federally funded institutions. The GOP has long made targeting transgender inclusion as a key campaign issue. In November, Mace had introduced a bill seeking to bar transgender female members and staff from using women's restrooms at the Capitol.
But it's so funny because the moment that happened, that video, my article started like showing up all over the place.
Yeah, she goes, during the House Oversight and Accounting Committee on this past Tuesday, Mace asked Crockett if she wanted to, quote, take it outside, unquote. Mace had objected to Crockett referring to her as, quote, child, unquote, during her speech, responding, quote, if you want to take it outside, we can do that. Crockett is
before you continue, Dr. Red, here's the part that is so egregious, right? When someone said we need to have it stricken from the record, I'm glad they didn't actually, because that needs to be documented for history. But
yes, it does.
When someone asked Comer to take it down, he said no because it was in the form of a question. This isn't Jeopardy.
Oh, are you is that what he said?
This isn't Jeopardy.
Okay.
He said she could be asking her to go outside for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee to talk it over.
Whatever. I'm so sick of these yahoos. I'm done. I'm like, it's really hard to see your country so broken. And it's hard to swallow when you sometimes feel helpless and hopeless. And there are days that I do feel that way about our country right now, because I've always told you guys that I always feel like I'm battling 1,000 battles. We're putting out one fire, yet there's 1,000 of them behind us that we have to put out as well. So this is why you have to get real focused, like we told you earlier, on what it is that you can do. Otherwise, the overwhelm will keep you paralyzed. And that is the plan, to keep you paralyzed so that you don't do anything at all.
Okay. So Regina says Jasmine did not call her chili, unquote. WF.
This child. That is what she called her. You call her a child.
Child.
You say you're being a little child, which she could have said, because guess what? You acted the exact way that you assumed she called you. You acted like you turned around and acted like a child.
Bobert, Regina says Bobert is happy because she's now guaranteed a pension. Ha ha! And
First job ever.
Nicole says, at the same time, how often do men explode at each other in those settings, but it doesn't make it to the news? The underlying issue is media is trying to pin women against each other to look like we're incapable of holding those high positions.
But no, they did cover that substantially last year when Matt Gaetz and Kevin McCarthy almost got into fisticuffs last year during the debate over the speakership.
Exactly.
But the point that I think we really have to look at is, if anyone is causing chaos in the halls of Congress, it's everyone on the right. There was no need for her to start up this mess when it was Jasmine Crockett's time to speak.
And she kept saying, I reclaim my time.
She could have held what she did for decorum and said to Comer after, may I ask her a question? Or may I comment? May I retort? Something. But the interrupting, the thing is that she was going for the viral moment. Nancy Mace is a fame whore. She's going for the viral moment. And so because the thing is that if she didn't know this was going to play well on social media, she wouldn't have kept interrupting. Just like when she shook, was it Jamal Bowman's hand or somebody's hand, and said she broke her arm?
Okay. Regina agrees with you, Nicole, about your comment. So Nicole and Regina are in agreement. Love it. Two wonderful, beautiful women from different countries, America and Canada, in agreement. All right. Let's move to our next conversation piece. What we have on, of course, we talked a little bit at the beginning, but now you can go a little bit deeper into it. Red Note, the Chinese app that American TikTokers are flooding. And I guess we can roll in the whole TikTok stuff. You both believe it's going to get banned. You don't think 45?
Well, no, because here's the thing. It's going to be banned tomorrow, period. There's nothing he can do tomorrow. He's not president tomorrow. He's not president tomorrow. There's not a damn thing he can do about it tomorrow. Is there anything that he can do on Monday? He can go back to the Supreme Court. But the problem is that they threw it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said no. Unanimously. The first thing that they all agreed on. And if they're unanimous over that, and John Roberts is worried about how people are seeing the court right now and the faith that the public has in the court, he's not going to change that when they all came to a consensus. If there was some debate about it, yeah. But here's the problem with Red Note for me. And I said this in our private chat. It's still a Chinese app.
Duh.
Which is the reason TikTok is being banned. If they sold it to someone who wasn't a Chinese entity, TikTok would not be banned tomorrow. Remember, they had several months to sell. They chose not to sell. So if you think that this new app won't get shut down just as quickly, well, there's already precedent now with the TikTok shutting down. It won't take another couple of months, right? It'll be, people are flooding to this. It's got to go. And here's the other part of it too, is that Trump will be down with it for the one thing. He said he can't keep his campaign promise about lowering groceries. He can't keep the campaign promise about being hard on China by saying no TikTok, no Red Note.
But y'all don't be stupid.
I'm
Do
hard
not
on
take a red note. Let me tell you something. I worked for a live streaming company that was based in China. I was the community manager. Cannot tell you which one it is. It's still thriving. I don't know why they ain't trying to go after them too. See, it's all a matter of principle of what they want. They want somebody to take the fall. But I can guarantee you that that Chinese company that I work for got all your information. So you're going to go directly to the source and just tell them, open up your mouth. Here you go.
Well, doesn't Facebook, doesn't
but that's right. I'm
but remember, Facebook is, but they're owned by U.S. entities, and that is the difference, because there are regulations in effect for U.S. entities and laws that apply to them in terms of the sharing of information and things under the Freedom of Information Act that we cannot control in an entity that is owned by another government that falls under the auspices of another government.
It doesn't make them less guilty.
Doesn't make them less guilty, but the fact is that there are laws that we can enforce to those countries, those entities owned in the U.S.
So Regina says Kevin O'Leary said he would buy it for the Americans along with Lala's favorite person, Elon Musk.
Baby, I wouldn't even touch it if Musk had his name on it.
No, because guess what? It's gonna be back. It's gonna go back to this whole thing. You will not own your content that you create on it. Musk will own it.
Nicole says the issue is not about TikTok, but the fact that they can all ban an app, but not things that can actually affect Americans' lives, like guns, child marriage, or women controlling their own body.
Right, but here's the thing. They don't want to do those things because they like the control. They like controlling. They like controlling people's lives. It's like, I think about it this way. You talk about the people that support Trump are people that have the least amount of control in their own lives. And so the only way that they feel, and they have the least amount of power, and the only way that they feel power is to control what happens to the lives of other people. It gives them a God complex. They feel like, I have power because they are the only people I know who feel like when they vote, their vote is their power. They feel empowered when they vote because there are people who will capitulate to the things that they want to control in other people. If you are a straight white man, why does it bother you that another person who was born male doesn't feel like they are male and want to live as a female? How is that affecting your rights? How is it?
Good take. Regina says, bingo. And also she says, why didn't they just say no Chinese apps allowed like other countries? Because in China, Facebook is banned completely.
And let me tell you something else that y'all don't know, and I need you to pay attention to. The app that I work for, and this is the same with TikTok as well. It's not called TikTok in China, you know that, but the things that they allow in America are not allowed in China. And that was the same for the app that I worked for too. They would let you come on and be a little skimpy. They would let you come on, but no. You didn't do that on the Chinese side. You came on dressed. There was no cussing. You better not talk about the government. They will shut you down. They are strict. And over in America, they let anything go. But
and
that's
people say because they've got freedom of speech.
Exactly. So you need to understand that the TikTok that you see here is not the TikTok in China.
Yeah.
And when our producer in the background says, yes, it's much different if I download the same app from Canadian or Chinese app store. So it's much different. Nicole says, and when you say they, ultimately, who is they? What gender is leading the pack in these decisions? It all stems back to patriarchal issues.
Yes and no. I've been thinking about. Obviously, yes, but I've also been thinking about it in terms of. We have to remember these other parts in terms of the patriarchy, right? What race and gender of women do the absolute most to enable the patriarchy? That patriarchy, when we're talking about the patriarchal issues and the patriarchy, and we're usually talking about straight white men. Well, guess who's raising these kids? These kids that end up becoming these men who end up doing all of this, right? There's that issue, but also too, I was watching a video on YouTube the other day, and a white woman was really upset about the fact that Black women didn't want to show up for this march thing that they had today. And this Black woman, informed that, wait a second, white women were just as bad when it came to being slave owners as the white men. In fact, they owned more of the enslaved people because it made them better marriage material. It's kind of like a dowry. And that they did just as vile things in terms of, boiling the children that were the result of their husband raping the slaves, boiling a baby, doing things like that. And so, yeah, there is a patriarchy, but we also have to recognize within that white women do a whole lot in terms of making sure that patriarchy stands firm. Nancy Mace, the last segment when we talked about Nancy Mace, one of the reasons I referred to her as a Karen, and one of the things that goes into a person being a Karen is the fact that they work so diligently to uphold white male patriarchy and white supremacy. And they do it in their actions, but then will turn around and say that it's for the sisterhood. And as Black women, we know this. And I think that is why we have decided that we can't be allies with all white women.
Right. Regina says, I officially gave up on white men on August 30th, 2012. Can't enable, can't date, can't respect. Don't get me started on ERA ratification in the 11th hour. Bullocks, why not prior to the Wade ruling? What is significance? So, Regina, what is the significance of August 30th, 2012? I don't know the significance.
Did you get divorced?
But, Jesus. I'd like to know.
That's what I took from it.
That just like really specific that day. That's a really specific date. Yeah, and she goes, yes. Okay. I didn't ask for that. Oh, gosh. Okay. All right. Well, we got a little more. As someone who I'm really close to say, we have some tea today on Primetime Saturday. Oh, so here we go. Nicole says, white women are also controlled by the patriarchy. White women are just as scared about being victimized by men as any other race of women. White women are also not becoming president.
Oh, I get that, but 53% don't care. That therein is a problem. Everything that Nicole said is true, but 53% are not supporting that with their vote. Because if they're scared about being victimized,
our 92% has weighed in and said, get somebody else to do it.
Right. And the thing is about, scared of being victimized by men as any other race of women, but 53% voted for a man who was held liable for sexual assault. That's the part that for me is kind of like, yeah, I get that. But your actions are betraying your beliefs and your feelings and your situation. And I think that is where it's like, my thought pattern is, wait a second, I feel this way, but that means that I have to make sure, in order to protect myself and protect other people like me, I have to make sure what I do doesn't enable that.
So,
And I don't see how 53% could look at this man and feel that women don't have a chance and then still vote for him.
So Regina says, yep.
Especially after he deployed 1 year.
So Regina says, yep, 53% are self-hating.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
and I think that would be the work that needs to be done, right? Internally is, yeah, it's called internalized misogyny. Yeah. But I think that might be the work that needs to be done without our participation, is working within the group, right? Working within the group to try and change that. Because the thing is that, yeah, our 92% showed up. Do you know how we've been working at that, at getting to that? We have been working on that consistently. And I think that people are like, well, it's just, no, it's been work. It's been hard work. Hard work.
And Regina says, if 10% of those people, those ladies had voted for Harris, we'd be in a new world.
Yeah. And that's it. All it would have taken was 10%, right?
All right. Last conversation piece. Aisha asked, oh, actually, no, we got two more. Yili's been going crazy today. Information gathering. Okay. Information gathering over the next 4 years. What can Americans do to avoid misinformation and disinformation for the next 4 years? I think you covered some of this, but anything you want to add?
Well, I think what LaLa said was the most important in terms of backing away from social media. Realize that a lot of your news that you're going to be getting through social media is going to be unfact checked.
Is going to have community notes. Whee!
And just so you know, anybody can write a community note, which means that the community note does not necessarily have to be true.
That's right, and that's what they're going to do. Let me give you an example. I did a post on my sisters this week. It's been 2 years since I've lost my sisters and no justice has been served. I posted that in sincerity, and it was a good video. Period. It was. I got attention that I needed. The next day, I literally got a message from Meta that said, you know better. You're not going to be able to make no money on that. I don't want your money. And it's distressing people, and you're talking about people getting killed. Still yet, there is all of these new pages popping up with clickbait and fake information, grabbing your stuff, putting out stuff, AI pictures that are not real and everything like that. But you're talking about something that I'm asking for justice, and I am the one who's going to be punished. To be honest, if I don't stop talking about this case, I'm in serious danger of having my pages shut down, and I don't care. I'm still going to continue to talk about it. And it all boils down to, see, they want people to be these influencers. They're luring you with pennies, but what they're doing is trying to keep people in that rabbit hole. So if they feel like you are distressing them, distressing their viewers, you are not worth anything to them, and they will take your account. Another thing I can tell you that just happened this week, very good friend of mine, absolutely beautiful beauty products. She does soap, she does body lotions, all that stuff. She's been selling on Facebook for years. Guess what? They shut both of her pages down and said, we got a new thing coming. You can't sell anything on our pages. You're now going to have to pay us to sell on our pages. So that's coming. And another thing they did on big influencers pages, and I don't know if they're doing it on the smaller ones, but now that TikTok is going away, if you go to those pages, some people are getting the button that says, transfer all of your TikTok people over here so they can follow you over here. So you could do it with the press of a button. What does that sound like? Anybody worried about China now?
Right.
So
be careful with your information and with the information that you get. That's the best advice I can give.
Yep, ditto.
All
and
right.
go in and turn off what I told you in your settings. It's on my page. Go do it. Google it if you have to. Go to YouTube if you have to get the instructions to turn off meta tracking. And that means that will all across their board. Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, blah, blah, blah. Don't forget he owns WhatsApp. So the glasses are a danger. So go clear your meta tracking and do not allow them to track you further.
Okay. Dr. Tachi's in the house. What is up, Dr. Tachi? Good evening to you. And also, Regina says, good evening, Dr. Tachi. You'll have to watch the replay, Dr. Tachi. We're winding it down, but we have one more conversation topic. And Aisha asked earlier, in America, what are you going to be doing on Martin Luther King Day on the 20th of June, 2025?
Well, there's a couple of documentaries I want to watch. Yeah, I might find some kind of local program or something to go have a look at. But for the most part, yeah, reading, reflecting. I think watching a couple documentaries and maybe listen to some music that day.
Yep, that is exactly what's going on in my world. I've got the documentaries getting ready to go up. I'm going to chill. I am going to really reflect on what was done in our country and how he had such a beautiful, beautiful part of our history. I will not let his history die. And it's simple as that.
What else is going on that day? I mean, is there something we're supposed to be doing?
Why are you going there? Why are you going there? You know I'm going to ask you. It falls the same day as the inauguration of the new president.
The what? Excuse me? I'm sorry?
You mean so in other words, Monday.
Monday?
Yeah. Okay.
I celebrate King twice. I celebrate him on the 15th.
Yep.
And then whatever the federal holiday is, because, it moves the date. But
federal holiday is Monday. That's about it.
Well,
so Dr. have a good meal.
So Dr. Tachi says hello to Regina. And also Regina says, wish you had come in earlier, Dr. Tachi, but glad you are here. And Dr. Tachi says, nothing else is happening that day.
No.
I might clean out a closet or two.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Maybe give the puppy a bath. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna let that be the last comment.
Monday is Mondaying.
I might have to shave my legs that day. So
Lord of mercy. Okay.
Well, I would do laundry too. I definitely do laundry Monday.
Okay. All right, ladies. That's it. I'm not going to ask for anything else for that last conversation piece. It's all good. It's all good. Who else has got some on here? Oh, well, Regina says we have a community parade, then an annual celebration service of Dr. King and a community lunch.
Beautiful.
There you
that
go.
Sounds nice.
All right.
Dr. Tapper is also National Day of Service.
Yes.
True.
So that's do something nice for your fellow man.
Okay, we're going to put that one up. It's also so Dr. Tachi says it's a National Day of Service. So great. Love that. Great day to serve the community. Excellent. We are done, ladies. Thank you as always.
I'll go down to DC and pick some trash up off the street.
Oh, gee. Now we are finishing. All right. We are, as always, want to say thank you to the ladies for taking their precious time to hang out with us as always. And before we let them leave, we'll ask if they were so kind to give their contact information. So first up, LaLa Key, where can we get a hold of you?
Well, you can find me a lot of places. You can get all of my information at bit.ly/Laura Key Info, which I have also swung over to my website, that www.laurakey.net. I also have a store called Roots and Richness, and it has a lot of beautiful Black beautiful black things over there. I want you to just get all up in this community. That's what we're doing. We're standing together, right? So we have some things there. But I do want to bring your attention, because I'm still not going to let it die. We know we talked about it tonight. Please make sure you go to my website, www.laurakey.net. There is a button for LA resources. And when you go to that button, it takes you directly to a spreadsheet that has been put together by an official party in LA that has a running list of where to donate, where to go get food if you need food, if it helps with housing, things of that nature. So please, if you can donate at all, people have lost everything. If you have even $2, can you please help someone else? That would be a great way to honor King.
Thank you so much, Lala. Appreciate you. And next up, Aisha K. Staggers.
Yeah, you can follow me at AK Staggers on Instagram. Hardly there. You can also read my work on Medium. Haven't done my first article for 2025 yet. You can also catch me on Blue Sky at akstaggers.bsky.social. I check my account every couple of days. But other than that, February 4th, bn.com. You can buy the Infallible Fannie Freeman. So.
Excellent. And myself. You can catch me at all these places, the drvibeshow.com website, YouTube and Facebook, the not just the Dr. Vibe Show, the Dr. Vibe Show, and Instagram at the drvibeshow, X/Twitter, I'm hardly there, at drvibeshow, email address dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And you can also catch me at Blue Sky. I finally figured it out. I was trying to log in with my email address. It wouldn't work, but I remembered my handle on Blue Sky. So I'd say every second day for now, I'm putting up a new post on Blue Sky. Actually, I think this past Thursday, I put the link for the repeat of last Saturday's show on Blue Sky. So I figured it out. Yay! Good stuff. So you can watch replays of Primetime Saturday with Aisha LaLa at the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Also, the Dr. Vibe Show website, the drvibeshow.com. As always, want to thank everyone who watched live on the replay. And we like to do this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can see it. Yeah. If you can dream it, you can reach it. Sorry. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions. Then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith and walk good.